Welcome to our deep dive into one of the most chilling urban legends of our time. You know, the kind of story that keeps you up at night, staring into the darkness, wondering what might be out there. The kind of story that makes you question everything you thought you knew about the world. Today, we uncover the eerie and unsettling facts about the black-eyed children. These aren't your typical trick-or-treaters asking for candy. These kids, well, they're something else entirely. Something that sends shivers down your spine and makes you want to lock your doors and board up your windows. But we're not just here to scare you, although, let's be honest, a little fear is half the fun, right? We're here to explore the origins, the eyewitness accounts, and the chilling possibilities surrounding this unsettling phenomenon. So where did this whole black-eyed children thing even start? Well, like most good mysteries, it began with a chilling tale. One of the earliest documented accounts comes from Texas back in 1996. A journalist named Brian Bethel claimed he encountered two young boys while sitting in his car. They approached his car and asked for a ride. A pretty standard request, right? Except something about these kids rubbed Bethel the wrong way. Maybe it was their oddly formal way of speaking or the unsettling feeling that washed over him, but then they did it. They looked up, and Bethel saw their eyes, completely black. No whites, no pupils, just two pools of inky darkness staring right through him. Understandably, Bethel noped right out of there, hitting the gas and driving away as fast as he could. His story quickly spread, and soon, similar encounters started popping up all over the internet. From quiet suburban streets to dark country roads, people were reporting encounters with these unsettling children. The details varied, but the one constant was always the eyes. Those unnerving black eyes that seemed to suck the life out of everything around them. Was Bethel's encounter a hoax, a figment of his imagination? Or was it the first terrifying glimpse into a phenomenon that had been lurking in the shadows all along? Whatever the truth may be, one thing's for sure. The legend of the black-eyed children had taken root, and it was spreading like wildfire. As the years passed, the stories of black-eyed children encounters continued to surface, each more unsettling than the last. One particularly chilling account comes from a woman named Sarah, who claims she encountered a group of these children while walking home alone one night. It was a typical evening, the kind where the air is thick with humidity and the only sound is the hum of distant traffic. Sarah was lost in her thoughts when she noticed a group of children standing under a flickering streetlight. They were dressed in what appeared to be old-fashioned clothing, their faces pale and expressionless. Sarah tried to ignore them, but something about their presence filled her with a sense of dread. As she quickened her pace, she heard their soft, high-pitched voices calling after her. "Excuse me, Mum," they said, "can you help us?" Sarah's heart pounded in her chest. She didn't want to look, but she couldn't resist the urge to glance back. That's when she saw them, their eyes, black as night, staring right through her. Terror gripped her and she ran. She didn't stop until she reached the safety of her apartment, slamming the door shut and locking it tight. But even then she could still feel their eyes on her, burning into her back like hot coals. Sarah's experience is just one of many chilling tales that paint a disturbing picture of these enigmatic beings. From unsettling encounters on doorsteps to terrifying run-ins on lonely highways, the stories share a common thread of fear, unease, and the lingering sense that something isn't quite right. So what is it about these black-eyed children that makes them so darn creepy? Well, aside from the obvious soul-sucking eyes, there are a few key characteristics that seem to pop up again and again in eyewitness accounts. First, there's the age. Black-eyed children are almost always described as being children or pre-teens, never older. There's something inherently unsettling about kids being the harbingers of fear, isn't there? It's like twisting something innocent into something sinister. Then there's their appearance. Witnesses often describe them as being unusually pale, almost sickly looking, with an unnerving stillness about them. Like dolls, but not the fun kind. And their voices? Forget about the sweet, high-pitched tones you'd expect from a child. People who have encountered black-eyed children say their voices are often described as flat, monotone, or even unusually adult-like. It's like they're mimicking human speech but haven't quite mastered the emotional nuances. But let's be honest, the eyes are what really seal the deal. Those solid black eyes, devoid of any light or reflection, are like staring into the abyss itself. And it's not just their appearance that's unsettling, it's their behavior too. Black-eyed children are often reported to be unusually persuasive, even demanding. They'll knock on your door, ring your doorbell incessantly and plead with you to let them in. They might ask for a ride, claim they need to use your phone, or simply want to come inside to get out of the cold. But no matter their request, there's always an underlying sense of urgency, a need to get you to break your own rules and let them into your space. So, what's the deal with these black-eyed children? Are they alien visitors, demonic entities, or just a bunch of bored teenagers messing with people for kicks? The truth is, nobody knows for sure, but that hasn't stopped people from coming up with some pretty wild theories. Some believe they're vampires, feeding off our fear instead of our blood. Others think they're some kind of interdimensional beings, accidentally slipping through the cracks of our reality. And then there are those who believe they're not supernatural at all, but rather a psychological phenomenon. Maybe it's our primal fear of the unknown manifesting in the form of creepy children. Or perhaps it's a form of mass hysteria fueled by the internet and our love of a good scare. Of course, there's always the possibility that it's all just a hoax. Maybe it started as a scary story, a campfire tale to spook kids and give adults a good fright. And like all good stories, it took on a life of its own, spreading from person to person, evolving and mutating along the way. But even if the black-eyed children aren't real in the traditional sense, the fear they evoke is very real. And that fear, that primal unease, tells us something important about ourselves. It speaks to our deep-seated anxieties about the unknown, about the things that lurk just beyond the edges of our understanding. Whether they're real, imagined, or somewhere in between, the black-eyed children have tapped into something primal in our collective psyche. They've become a modern-day boogeyman, a cautionary tale whispered in hushed tones. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, of course, that you're confronted with a group of black-eyed children. What do? Well, first off, don't panic. Easier said than done, I know, but panicking is like offering them a VIP pass to your soul. Whatever they are, these beings seem to be drawn to fear, so try to remain calm and assertive. Don't engage in conversation, no matter how persuasive they may be. Remember, you don't owe them anything, not your time, your attention, or a glass of water. If they're at your door, don't open it, no matter how much they plead or threaten. Keep that door shut tight. Your home is your sanctuary, and you have every right to protect it. If you're out in public, try to put as much distance between you and them as possible. Walk confidently in the opposite direction, and if they follow, seek help from someone nearby. There's safety in numbers, right? And whatever you do, don't look at their eyes. It's said that prolonged eye contact can have unforeseen consequences. Look, I'm not saying you should be paranoid, but a little caution never hurt anyone, right? Thanks for joining us on this spine-chilling journey into the heart of the black-eyed children mystery. Whether you believe these stories or dismiss them as urban legends, there's no denying their power to unsettle and intrigue. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more mysterious and intriguing content. We've got a whole lot more spooky stories, unsolved mysteries, and downright strange phenomena to explore together. Stay safe and keep your eyes open. You never know what might be lurking in the shadows. And hey, if you happen to see a couple of kids with unusually dark eyes, maybe just cross the street, yeah?